Hello everyone, this is Aaron from class. I'm a sophomore, almost a junior at UCD. I'm going to be a special ed teacher, and this is my summer project that I would love to tell you all about. I grew up in a very small urban town, or not urban, but predominantly white, lacking diverse neighborhood, Clark Farms, Parker, and that's my house in the red. And I guess even though it didn't have much diversity, not too many people of color or Hispanic or other minority kind of backgrounds, it did actually incidentally teach me about diversity by not having it. My parents always were a firm believer that just because someone's different or comes from a different orientation or different background, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. And that with these different perspectives, it taught me that everyone's different, and that because everyone's different, it helps broaden your perspectives about yourself. Growing up here too, it also shows that I did learn a lot kind of being on my own, and it showed me that even though my family was and still is very blessed to have the life that we have, that other people in other nearby neighborhoods like in Aurora or Commerce City, where I even lived the first 3 years of my life, that people don't have as high as wealth or as much as wealth as I do, or as much privilege. And I think that makes me ask the question is, do you think these different environments and the different social classes and these different you know, abstract categories have a negative impact on a person's ability to learn? So do these social classes impact a child's learning abilities by different schools and things like that? And that's my first question for you. And growing up here, showing me these different things, other than my family and my friends and the environment that I was raised in, superheroes such as Marvel and DC characters have taught me that being different, such as the X-Men, or being, potentially handicapped like Daredevil or any other things, isn't a bad thing, and that you're not crippled by these things, and that anyone with loving and kind intentions can be a hero. Right here is Ave Maria Catholic School, and this is actually what started my hatred for school. There's this woman, no joke, named Mrs. Dykes, and she was just literally an awful teacher who really honestly disliked children. Every time she would call on me, I would say the right answer, she would say it's wrong, then pick the next kid and say it's right, and she was going to hold me back in the 3rd grade. It wasn't, as a kid, I felt scared, alone, and I didn't know what to do. But it wasn't until a little bit later that I was lucky enough to go to Cherokee Trail Elementary School in this photo here. I know it seems like a road, but it's the brick building, that I met this wonderful, wonderful teacher who single-handedly changed my resentment, my hatred, my fear of school and teachers into beautiful perspectives about everything. And she believed in me, and she took the time to tell me how smart and how gifted and how special I am. And it's because of her, because she was a special ed teacher, because, remedial is a part of sped ed, and that's the whole reason why I'm going to be a special ed teacher, is because of her. And other than that, is giving that child not just the academic influence to strive and reach your hands up to the sky, and knowing that anything is possible, but also to know that other than that they are very smart academically. It's to let them know that they are not alone in this school system, and that there are people fighting for them, for their spiritual, academic, and emotional well-being, like she did for me. I can't thank God enough for her and what she did for me. And then, as we move on, so it's because of her is why I'm going to be a special ed teacher, and just the emotional investment that she did, and she understands the complexities. This is my middle school, by the way. Not much to say there, other than 7th and 8th grade were awkward. It's because of that, though, I was able to go here, which is Chaparral High School, and this is actually, even though it's still part of Parker in Douglas County, I met this math teacher named Mr. Sturb, who's white, but he's one of the nicest, most amazing teachers ever, who's similarly to my elementary school teacher, Miss Lerner. He did the same thing. He'd wake up really early in the morning at like 5 o'clock, get there at 6, and help kids with math, such as myself, for an hour and a half, because school didn't start until 7:45. And he took the time to let me know and reaffirm my beliefs in teachers and in the school system, that I am smart, and that I am special. And I know when I keep getting older and wiser and soon to be a teacher, that's what I want to do as well, is have that positive impact and let them know how special and how gifted they are. It's because of these wonderful, enlightened teachers why I'm going to be a teacher. Continuing on, there's one particular excerpt I want to talk about here in this context, or from this article, from the from, hold on, I'm just trying to find it, from the Villegas and Lucas preparing teachers rethinking curriculum. It's by socioculture consciousness, we mean an understanding that people's ways of thinking, behaving, and being are deeply influenced by such factors as race, ethnicity, social class, and language. Without this insight, teachers are unable to cross sociocultural boundaries that separate too many of them from their students. I think the reason why this is so important to me and why this resonated so well with my soul and why I'm going to continue preaching this particular article and the other one I'm going to show you here soon in a sec is that without these different things, without these different articles conveying this common consensus that if you go look at all the other articles you're into, this is the core foundation of everything, the belief that, you know, for teachers to properly and appropriately understand different ethnic, cultural, sexual backgrounds and histories, they have to really understand and learn about themselves and what they are as a person, where they come from. Like for me personally, I'm German, Italian, and part Norwegian, and I mean, I know that the Germans did the Holocaust, and Italians had the mob, and I mean that's not more negative stuff, and Norwegians had Vikings, but it's like, well, there's a lot of amazing art and music that came out of it, and it's just, it's part of my family lineage, and it's just, I'm going to incorporate my family lineage, my socio-economic culture within the classroom, and then it'll hopefully broaden all the students' horizons in regards to, or it'll broaden their perspectives, make them intrigued to learn more about themselves and other people around them. So when a teacher has a good understanding of themselves, then they'll properly acknowledge and understand to the highest level that they can that different cultures and race and ethnicities are different, but also ultimately one and good. And these different perspectives help better each other. Uso's Culture of Wealth, that article heavily influenced me and resonated with my soul the most because it showed me that the critical race theory in particular, as you just saw, was posed to research and show the different perspectives from these different minority kids and kids of different background. And when I was here at Ruby Hill, as the picture you can see, I didn't take that picture, it's off the internet, lost my pictures, but when I was there, they conducted a similar critical race theory, and that to see if these kids answered questions differently based on their race, and some of them did and some of them didn't. It just showed that even though these kids have different cultural backgrounds, even some orientations and different identities and race, that they don't fit into these stereotypes, and that they do have different thinking, but overall very similar thinking. That doesn't change the way of ultimately a child's growth, and that they have similar academic and spiritual growth. And my question for you guys is, in regards to that, do you think that this is a very valid theory, or do you think that this is just kind of more to gain understanding of the minority kids? From my time here at CU Denver to these classes to these articles, from living in Parker to my work at King Soopers, Red Robin, Mellow Mushroom, and Starbucks, I've learned about the difference in culture, backgrounds, minorities, orientations, and how everyone, despite where you come from and what you do, it's natural and it's good and it's encouraged, and that everyone is special and everyone is unique, and that everyone has similar academic and spiritual growth, and I can't wait to be a part of that influence for the better.